How's it going, everybody? Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. We are here every day, Monday through Friday, noon Pacific, 3 Eastern, Sundays, 3 Pacific, 6 Eastern, Saturday mornings with Jim Valley, 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 Eastern, Sundays with Andrew Zarian. Holy smokes, it's Monday here on the show, and we got a lot to talk about. Since everybody is asking, as of right now, 3:06 Eastern on Monday. Yes, WWE is still going to Saudi Arabia. We will see what happens because they've already been affected, as we will get to in the next segment. But as of now, it is still on for this weekend. But it is absolutely being discussed, and it might be a case where they can't go. So we're going to talk about that here on the show today, as well as all of the rest of the news. It was a busy weekend. The Smackdown show building up what may or may not be in Saudi Arabia. We had a Collision show, which I went to in Seattle, and there is a Dynamite and Collision taping coming up this Wednesday, which I plan to go to. We can talk about that. WWE's filed a trademark for what could be a new show. I don't know if it'll be a show on television, YouTube, what it'll even be. We'll tell you about that. An update on Buddy Matthews. The G1 Climax field is almost done. We have two more entrants still to be determined. We have the biggest AW rating in years from the Arena Mexico show this past Wednesday. New Japan has signed an Olympic gold medalist whose name will not be changed, because they're not stupid, and plenty more. If you'd like to text us here today, 425-780-7566. That is 425-780-7566. F4WOnline@gmail.com. F4W Online Threads, Instagram, and Cameo. You want a $10 Cameo? I ain't going anywhere. At Bryan Alvarez on X and Blue Sky. Back in a moment with Filthy Tom, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
It's Bryan Alvarez and Big Vinny V, and we hope that you enjoy the show.
Should I do one more time? Huh? I played the entire song before realizing I had not hit record.
I figured as much.
So I had to start the entire show over again. Uh-oh. Is my internet down? My internet died. Yeah. All right. Stand by, everybody. Hi, everybody. We're back. And we're just gonna barrel on through, right, Vinny? What do we have on that Facebook thing? Now it says no audio. Jared, do we have audio?
I can hear you.
Honestly, what is going on?
Yeah, we just watched a movie
What
about
is
this.
up with my internet? Lost everybody again. Curry says no problems with the Big Vinny V show.
His words.
Not since the first one.
I was going to say, the very
There have
first
been
one was a
Many
disaster.
problems. Many problems.
We've had quite a few.
Yeah, and you know what I do? I just barrel on through.
Brian.
Barrel on through should be the name of this show. What the hell's going on this week? Like, every single show, something goes terribly wrong. Today, I didn't have the music set to go at first. Then I got it set to go, but I forgot to hit record. Finally, I hit record and got the song going right. Golly. One disaster after another here. We're starting 15 minutes late. I still can't find the video, Jared. Is it up? Where is everything? Granny's joining us here today via phone. We cannot connect her audio or video. It's a blank screen. I don't know what's going on. What are we doing? Should we just quit today? I don't know what the problem is, Granny. I don't know how to fix it. I don't know what's going on. We still have no video. I got a question. Where's the goddamn video at?
You gotta fire Jared.
All right, now it's up. Hello, everybody.
This is the one you told me to do last week, Undertaker plus Psycho Kid.
Okay.
Are you done laughing?
Yeah, we're done.
Yes, Granny, I apologize.
There'll be more.
Then Psycho Sid comes out with blonde curly hair. Hard to pull. Lasts a while before he gets out of it. I had to give that a 10.
A 10.
Oh, wow.
Undertaker won a match and a belt. That's a 10 on the granny scale.
Victor is still at it more than ever this week, as far as the soaps go.
Hell of a report, Granny.
All right.
That was a 10 on the Granny Soap Opera Report scale.
Okay, just a minute.
Jared, you're forgiven. Instead of suffering through the YouTube chat, click like and subscribe. Oh, man. Back here on the show, Bryan Alvarez here, Wrestling Observer Live. Filthy Tom is joining us here today. Do you have any flights to Saudi Arabia coming, Tom?
I do not.
Okay, well. So
Nor to Qatar or Yemen or
Yeah.
anywhere in the Middle East.
Iran attacked a U.S. military base in Qatar. It's Qatar, right?
Qatar.
Anyway, short and long-range, medium-range missiles, all intercepted, no casualties reported. However, they have shut down all airspace, and believe it or not, this has already affected WWE because, so when they have a show, obviously, they send over all of the production people in advance, and at this moment, right now, there are WWE production people at the airbase, or at the airport, in Qatar, and they are stuck. Airspace has been shut down. They are stuck at the airport. And there has been airspace shut down all around the area. And, like, the production people are literally there like, I don't know what's going on. And it is a, quote, temporary shutdown. No one obviously knows what that means. As of this exact moment, they have not canceled the show. As of this exact moment, the presumption is that everybody else who is going is going to fly out on Wednesday. So I was told that it would not be a breach of contract if WWE pulls out of this show in Saudi Arabia. I think obviously they would have to do a makeup show at some point. But right now, they are proceeding as if the show must go on. So we'll see what happens over the next couple of days. They got to make the call by Wednesday. That's it. So that's when everyone's supposed to fly out.
Brian, Qatar they could drive to Riyadh from there. So they don't have to fly to get to Saudi Arabia, those production people. They could drive. Now, I know there is, I believe, an advisory for traveling in Saudi Arabia, but that's on the southern coast near Yemen. Well,
it's also a warning.
Southern border. Yes.
Like, you can travel. It is not prohibited, but it is a travel warning that has been issued.
Well, Riyadh is 20 hours from drive time from that portion of Saudi Arabia. So I think what's more alarming is the fact that Iran said that they are targeting any U.S. Civilians in that area. So,
yeah,
like these countries don't want to piss each other off. You know what I mean? But with having the U.S. involved like it is, you can't be too safe.
If it's me, the show's off, and you got 5 days to get another building, and run the show here. I don't know. You gonna wait 2 more days? They have. I don't know this for sure, but my presumption is they have to be considering a plan B, even if they're still planning on going, because they got storylines and such that are supposed to be like everyone's going, why don't they just move this show? You could, but they got everything. They got to figure stuff out and quick.
What's wild is that the UFC just had a show in a neighboring country this weekend as well. They had their show in Azerbaijan, in Baku, and that's a country that borders Iran. So TKO, kind of bookended both both sides of this, I guess you could say, attack on non-civilian targets in Iran.
We've got a new trademark filing that WWE has applied for. WWE Late Night. So it looks like it is filing to cover goods and services related to hosting and producing live entertainment shows and comedy performances. So this could be a continuation of the roast of WrestleMania, which, I don't know, man. That roast of WrestleMania, it's like the stuff I heard coming out of that thing. And they did everything in their power to make sure that nothing could come out. And, you know, they do that with roasts unrelated to wrestling. But it just kind of seems to me that you're rolling the dice with something like that. You're just rolling the dice. And I think it would be a bad idea to continue it, but whatever. You know, it's their thing. Stuff's going to get out is my point. Like, you can do everything in your power, but, like, one of these days something's going to get out that you don't want to get out. What's the point? Are you going to sell some tickets? How many tickets did they sell to Tony Heathcliff's thing or whatever?
Tony Hinchcliffe.
I mean, it's not like they made tons and tons of money, but like it could cost them tons and tons of money. Hey, I'm an old man, whatever, I don't care. I just don't think it's a good idea.
Heathcliff?
Yeah,
was he
that
there
cat?
Was he there with Riff Raff and the Cadillac Cats?
Might have been, actually. There was Riff Raff there. I mean, I can confirm that. There was definitely Riff Raff there.
The last time a late night show was good, the only time in the last 30 years anything good on late night has happened has been Conan O'Brien. So unless they have him host that show, I'm out.
Buddy Matthews progressing slower than he'd like as he recovers from his ankle injury. It's not recovering. No mobility. If I can't have mobility, I can't move properly. Once it's 3 months without healing, it becomes chronic. He said he thought he'd be back in the ring in April, and he's still out, and it is not healing well. And that sucks. That's the problem with particularly ankles. Like, a lot of people, when they hurt their ankle, it's like it doesn't heal properly. You know, some people have been bothered by it for the rest of their lives. I remember I went to, and it turns out this wasn't the case, but like my ankle was like really bothering me for a long time. This was like probably 15 years ago, and I went to the chiropractor, Tom, and he kept adjusting my ankle, and he essentially told me, like, if you don't keep getting this thing adjusted, like, it's going to fuse, and then you're going to have no mobility. And it ended up never fusing. Maybe I got enough adjustments, I don't know. But you do not want that ankle to fuse if you are an athlete. Marty Jannetty, both of his ankles apparently just kind of fused. And, I wouldn't be surprised if, like, Chono's got the fused ankles. You ever seen that guy? Holy smokes. Not good. So all the best to Buddy Matthews. We got the G1. So a couple of play-in matches have concluded. Drilla Maloney and Callum Newman are now in the G1. And remaining are either Oiwa and Don Fale or Yoshihashi and Chase Owens. Those are the final two play-in matches. The G1 begins July 19th, runs through August 17th. And the blocks are Goto, Bolton, Oleg. Whoever wrote that on the front page, you got heat with me. You got it backwards. Yuya Uemura, Yota Tsuji, David Finlay, Evil Sonata, Tanahashi, Callum Newman, and either Oiwa or Don Fale. B block has Phantasmo, Shota Umino. Hopefully Phantasmo's better. He had a back injury of late. Shingo, Zack Sabre Jr., Great O'Khan, Gabe Kidd, Ren Narita, Takeshita, Drilla Maloney, and either Yoshihashi or Chase Owens. And looking at that, I don't think a lot of people, not a lot of options for this year's winner other than Takeshita, maybe Tanahashi if you want to tell that story. I guess Zack Sabre Jr., maybe Shingo. But, yeah. You excited for the G1 this year, Tom?
No. I'd have Tanahashi win it, and I'd have Takeshita be the champion by then. And then
Tanahashi and Takeshita at the Tokyo Dome?
He can finally get his win over Takeshita and retire with the belt.
So he's going to do the John Cena?
And then they will crown Aaron Wolf as the new champion of the world.
Aaron
Afterwards.
Wolf. We'll talk about Aaron Wolf. That's a guy that, like, you shouldn't change his name because it'd be stupid, but also you shouldn't change his name because his name is Aaron Wolf. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Check out this free video and make sure you hit like and subscribe.
If Truth didn't have the best weekend in this company, then Mr. Iguana did.
Oh, yeah, this guy is over, dude.
We'll get to him in the Worlds Collide review, but
He's got merch up on WWE shop.
he's gonna make so much.
He's got these
money.
kids that want to see more Mr. Iguana.
Yeah. So
His face paint is so funny.
I must stop you right here. It's not face
Oh,
paint.
would you stop?
It's head paint.
Yeah, it
He
looks.
paints his whole damn head.
It looks like he's like he gets held upside down and they just dunk
Dip
his
it,
head
yes.
in green paint.
Yes.
It's absolutely bizarre.
And when he's not resting, he wears the round silver spectacles,
Yes,
and
he's got a
he flicks his
puppet.
tongue constantly,
Yes.
as an iguana would, and he Del Toro and Octagon do whatever, and people are patient, but they don't care. And then Iguana tags in, and they are hyped. It took about 7 seconds to make himself my favorite luchador. He starts, I forget who he's in there with, but the guy offers a handshake, and so he licks it because he's an iguana, and then he gets hit with a shoulder tackle, or it's a chop. He takes a chop, he drops to his back, he sticks all four limbs straight in the air.
Yes.
He's playing dead like an iguana would. So then he brings in the puppet. I didn't get the puppet's name. I should have used it 50 times. But it's an iguana puppet that he thinks is real. Well,
already
sometimes.
already up on WWE shop.
Excellent.
Yeah.
Excellent.
You know if Harley Cameron's doll is on the AW?
I do not know.
It's not.
Okay.
It's not.
Yeah.
Just throwing that out there.
So he starts doing spots with the puppet in his mouth. He lets the puppet try to get the pin. And amidst all the silliness, Conan says, you know this Mr. Iguana, he's most popular with children.
I liked how as soon as the puppet started doing spots, Corey Graves goes, "Is that legal in Mexico?" And without skipping a beat, Conan goes, "Yes."
Low on the list of things you will see in a Lucha Libre match, especially in AAA. So he starts using the puppet more as a weapon, or as a distraction, I should say. But it ends up with Lindsay Dorado getting a hold of this puppet, and he snaps, and he stomps the puppet, and he grabs the puppet, and he Spanish flies the puppet. This crowd is outraged. They're pissed. They're furious. But you know he's even more pissed and furious?
It got more heat than anything else, maybe on the entire show,
Mr.
actually.
Goddamn Iguana.
They were
who's
furious.
seething and his eyes are breaking out, and he snaps and just rips ass. He grabs his own lizard and is whipping these guys with it. And then they remember it's just a puppet and they stop selling.
This was a very, very fun match. Liked it a lot. And there's a lot to learn here about marketing.
Yeah.
So a lot of airports shut down. But it is, I mean, at this point they claim temporary. So, what does that mean? I don't know.
Well, it means not permanent.
Well, I know that, but, like, how long is this going to last? I mean,
Well, I think there's a lot of factors that
I know, but it's
determine
like,
that.
are they just going to sit here and just, like, wait it out? Well, they're still closed now. Let's see what happens during Raw. Are they open yet? You know, let's see if they're open by Tuesday. I don't know.
What are the other options? You know what I mean?
The other option is to cancel it right now and use Raw tonight to promote whatever building you're going to get for Saturday here in the U.S.
That's my
and
that was
sell
my question.
tickets. Yes.
What options do they have? They don't have. TKO is holding International Fight Week this week as well here in Vegas. So all the buildings are booked up for UFC
Performance Center.
on the weekend. The Apex
Yeah.
pack in 100 people to the Apex.
Do the Performance Center if you have to.
You know, I looked at tickets for Power Slap, the Power Slap event, Friday night here in Vegas. Completely sold out. Completely. The last tickets I saw, $700 a head. What is going on?
I don't know. I don't know. This person says if they cancel the event, the Saudis won't pay them. Well, yeah, obviously.
But, I mean...
There's. Let's talk about a couple of things here. Yeah, obviously they won't get paid if they don't go. But, like, first off, you might not be able to go. That's number one. Number two, like, is it worth the money? What, they're hurting for money? They're not hurting for money. If the event gets canceled, you can run it again in 6 months or whatever if you decide you still want to continue to have this relationship. But, like, I mean, my number one concern would not be the money. I mean, they do have shareholders they have to answer to and such, but, like, you know, I don't know. I don't get it sometimes. Wednesday night's Grand Slam, 736,000 viewers on TBS, a .21 in 18 to 49, and man, I'll just say this, you know, I'll just say this, and then I'll talk about all the great things for them about this number. The show should have just been 2 hours. I know it was like a special show, and it was a 2.5-hour show and everything like that. But, like, man, that second 40 minutes, I mean, dragged this down immensely. And, you know, a lot of people, when they said their DVRs and such, the DVR didn't even record, like, the second half hour. And it had an overrun of the 2.5 hours. And so a lot of cable systems also didn't record the overrun. And, you know, yesterday said, well, it's not AEW's fault. And listen, I don't know whose fault it is, but, like, AEW plays some role in this. Like, did you have to do an overrun that would affect people's DVRs? Did you have to go 2.5 hours? It's just, this show, you guys realize the number this show would have done if it had just been a 2-hour show? But anyway, even at 2 hours and 35 minutes or whatever it ended up being, still the biggest show they've done in years. And if you add in what they likely did on Max, it was the biggest show they've done. I don't want to say ever, but in the history of AEW, it's got to be in the top 5. And it was a show at Arena Mexico. And, you know, the opening segment was entirely in Spanish. There were no subtitles and barely any translation, and that still did the highest 18 to 34 number of the entire show. Is a cowboy out there speaking Spanish for 15 minutes. That did the highest thing on the show in 18 to 34, and the 2 hours the 2 hours did great. You know, it fell a lot in the last 40 minutes, as noted, but you know, it still did very well. But I think that here's what I've got. Here's my what I've gotten out of this number. You should do an Arena Mexico show every year. It should be in Arena Mexico. It should you know, feature all of the stars of Lucha doing Lucha Libre, having Lucha matches, and it should always be 2 hours with no overrun. The same goes for Dynamite. I think this is just this is the way it should be done, because every time you go long, I know Tony loves to go long. I know he loves overruns. I know he loves, like, more. But every time he does more, it hurts the number every single time. I mean, the overrun always falls on the normal show, and I think that you should just do 2 hours and get the most out of your 2 hours. But that's just me, not my show. But an excellent number.
I don't think it would have been as bad if they hadn't been forced to do 4 hours the week before, and then, you know, 2 hours one Wednesday and then 2 hours the next night sometimes. It just seems like they've had these long shows far too often recently. And I don't think there's anything wrong with doing an overrun, but when that becomes the norm, then it becomes an issue. And it seems like that's sort of what's happened with AEW lately.
Well, I mean,
At least time-wise, I'm not going to complain about the show and the quality and what they put out there, but the shows do go long.
the thing with the overrun is that in the 90s, when you would do an overrun, I mean, there were two things. Number one, you were going head-to-head with another promotion. You wanted your show to run longer than them. You wanted to do your big thing at the end when nobody was watching the other show. So you went long. You had an overrun. And the other thing is, back then, especially with WWE, you had hot shows that aired at 11 o'clock. La Femme Nikita. Everybody remembers La Femme Nikita.
Oh, boy, do I ever.
And, a lot of people tuned in for La Femme Nikita, which means you had the wrestling audience, which was huge, and then you add in the audience for La Femme Nikita. So you would do an overrun, you'd get a jump on the competition, and it would add to the overall, rating of the show because it would be so much higher than the rest of the show. Well, it's not 1998 anymore. I mean, the overrun, every single time, with maybe 10% of the exceptions, every single time AEW runs long, they lose viewers. And it hurts the overall number for the rest of the show. And you're supposed to have a main event in that segment. And if I had a promotion, I don't want to run a main event and have people tune out during it every single time. I don't want to do that. I want the most people watching my main event angle. And that doesn't happen. And I don't know, man. That's just, they fell from 733 to 589 in in the bonus, 40 minutes of the show. That's they lost 150,000 viewers over the course of that period. And prior to that, I mean, the number they would have done if you would have just done 2 straight hours, I mean, it would have been the biggest AEW number, probably top 1 or 2 in history. So I just don't get it. I don't like the overrun. But anyway, such is life. The show peaked at, viewership-wise, Mystico and MJF, 801,000 viewers and a .23, which means, if you add in Max, we're talking over 1 million. And, I know people don't want to hear it, but it's true. This show probably did as good or better than last week's Raw. It's just how it goes. And the question is, can they maintain that? I'm sure this week will be a big drop, especially because we have absolutely nothing announced for Wednesday. I'm going to the show. I have no idea who's on the show. I have no idea what's on the show. They've announced no matches. The only thing I know is that Kota Ibushi will be there. So
we can't even ask AI because that was way off.
Oh, yeah, we got to do that after the break, the AI report.
Oh, no, please.
I mean, we could still ask AI. In fact, you know what? I'm going to try it right now.
No.
Yes. Listen, I'm trying to help everybody here, including Tony. I just want to help. Where's my ChatGPT? Okay.
Why don't you ask it where Night of Champions is going to take place?
But there's a lot we could ask it, but let's start with this one right here. Oops. How do I do it? There we go. Who is going to be on the AEW Dynamite show on June 25th in Kent, Washington? Let's see if it's got anything for us. What do you think? It's thinking deeply.
Doing more than I'm doing at this point. So
here is the advertised lineup for Dynamite and Collision. That's 2 shows, by the way. Tony made it very clear. 2 shows for the price of 1 ticket. The advertised lineup for Dynamite and Collision from Kent, Washington this Wednesday at the ShoWare Center. Return of Kota Ibushi. That's it. AI didn't even try it. It's that's it, buddy. That's all that's been announced.
Oh,
One guy, we don't even know if he's wrestling.
Linda McMahon was right. We can't trust this A1.
A1. Is that what she said?
Yes.
Really? I thought you were just making a steak sauce joke.
No.
All right. When we come back, we're going to compare what AI thought about SmackDown to what actually happened. We'll talk about SmackDown. And, Tom, if you got any comments on Aaron Wolf, The 2020 Olympic gold medalist in judo at 100 kilograms. Although Dave argued the year of the Olympics this year. Although he's right, it did actually happen in 2021.
Yeah, but
That's
you know,
after
it's
the
not what
break.
They call it. It's like Alton Bowleg and Bowleg Alton.
Oh, man. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful.
I am going to channel the well-known, infamous roast of Bryan and Lance.
Oh my God.
I vaguely remember this.
Lance was a champion in virtually every company he has appeared in. While he did hold the distinction of holding 3 titles, that angle fizzled out faster than his podcast Killing the Town.
Wow. I now remember this utter disaster of a roast.
Let's get Lance a chair to sit in. And as we do, could we also bring someone up here to show him how to use it? I remember that chair shot. I don't remember who it was on, but I
utter
remember
silence that this roast was met with.
Tom, at least I was smart enough not to do those chair shots again.
Bryan, besides me, there are others who I'm sure dislike you, like Vince Russo, Eric Bischoff, but I think you're great. Like a guiding light or a father, which is why I'm not surprised when you screw me every week. The best-selling author of The Death of WCW. He had just completed his new book, for which actually Lance Storm wrote the foreword, which is 3 more than most wrestling fans know.
Hideous. Atrocious.
It must be hard when you look so young. If I didn't know better, I'd say you had your grandma's genes. But actually, if the camera panned down, I bet Lance is wearing them. Anyways, let's start the show. Carmelo went for the La Mystica. Andrade went for the Message.
It's actually
And it
not the
ended-
La Mystica. It starts like a La Mystica, but the La Mystica is actually a submission, and he doesn't land in the submission. He just does the whole slam part and then jumps
Okay.
up.
Yeah, the
Okay.
La Mystica
Oh, whoa,
is
whoa,
a
whoa.
tilt-a-whirl head scissor into a Fujiwara armbar.
Into a Fujiwara
Yes.
armbar. The La Mystica is not the submission. Do not tell me.
I didn't say that was a
That-
submission. I said the La Mystica involves the tilt-a-whirl facebuster into the submission. The whole thing. Why are you so angry?
Well, you just
Because
changed
it's not
what you said in live, right?
Yeah.
No,
that's
he doesn't
why.
land in a submission. He just slams them. So it's not a La Mystica.
I believe that's the actual move.
Okay,
but
whatever. Who
Yeah.
cares?
I just hope editor Sean pulls up the exact clip of you saying La Mystica's a submission and then denying it afterwards.
La Mystica is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a
That-
submission.
The Mystic is actually a submission. I didn't say that was a submission.
Editor Sean.
Tom, are you excited about the debut of the Wolf Man, Aaron Wolf? Ow! It's gonna be awesome.
He's a cryptozoologist now.
You know what they're not gonna do is change his name. They got an Olympic gold medalist, and they've decided we are going to train him, debut him, and he will be a top guy as an Olympic gold medalist. As compared to our WWE Olympic gold medalist who trained and is now best known for winning LFG in front of 80,000 people on the A&E network. Whatever.
Aaron Wolf will debut live. Actually, they are going to show his debut live on network television in Japan. So a huge coup for New Japan. The 2020 Olympic gold medalist
2021
in judo. It was the 2020 Olympics held in 2021. My friend. So a huge signing for New Japan. Those of you who were alive fans back in the late 90s, early 2000s may remember a man by the name of Naoya Ogawa. I believe this is reminiscent in some ways of that. A huge signing, a national star in judo, which is a huge sport in Japan. And like I said, a huge get for New Japan. Ogawa brought in a lot of fans. He had a feud with Shinya Hashimoto. It actually led to the creation of 0-1, and his matches were always a spectacle. He ended up fighting MMA a few times. He fought in Pride. I believe he fought Fedor in the Pride Grand Prix in a losing effort, but he was a big star, a big name in Japan, and New Japan kind of looks to do the same with Aaron Wolf here. But we'll see if he can follow in the steps of his, masterful family member, Blue Wolf, who's
God.
long been gone.
Remember Blue Wolf?
Yes, I do remember Blue Wolf. That's why I brought him up, the brother of Asa Shiryu.
No, do you actually remember him?
Yes, I remember Blue Wolf. He was a Mongolian Bok wrestling champion.
Why do you have to be so
who
crabby all the
transitioned
time, brother?
to New Japan. He was part of G-Eggs.
Are you angry because you had to watch a 3-hour SmackDown again and it sucked?
I'm angry because Blue Wolf retired in 2006, and he should have been the champion. That's why I'm angry.
Well, this Wolf will surely blow down the house of New Japan Pro Wrestling. Yes, he will.
Good one.
I hate SmackDown. God. 3 hours is too long. It's brutal. What did AI predict for this show? By the way, one thing it did predict, just to jump over my own question. Do you remember when we asked AI to predict what would happen on SmackDown, and it said that LA Knight was going to come out and be interrupted by Big E? Do you remember that? And we mocked and ridiculed it?
That is what happened.
And then, golly, LA Knight came out and it was interrupted by Paul E.
Who's quite large.
Uncanny.
And in the AI world, LA Knight wanted a no DQ match. And what did he want?
Which is what happened here.
He wanted a fight. He wanted a match with Paul Heyman.
What did AI predict for the winners of the King of the Ring tournament, the Queen of the Ring tournament?
Well, AI predicted that Randy Orton would defeat
Correct.
Sami Zayn.
Correct.
With an RKO out of nowhere. Big surprise. It actually said Jade Cargill would defeat Stephanie Vaquer, which I don't even think is even a match.
Wait, it didn't know it was Asuka and Alexa Bliss?
No.
Huh.
No.
How about that?
And it also claimed that
Did it claim John Cena would do a pipe bomb promo on CM Punk while he laid in rubble for 12 straight minutes?
No, it actually had the opposite of CM Punk standing over
Really?
John Cena. Yeah.
Yeah, this AI doesn't know jack. I thought this show, like this fella here on the chat who's incapable of listening asked if I hate WWE again. Do you not listen, Spit Take? Because that was a spitty take right there. I don't hate WWE. I hate this 3-hour show. It's too freaking long, dude. The show is too long at 3 hours. Do you understand? It's too long. And so, yeah, I hate SmackDown because it's too long. And I sit there and I watch insufferably long segments that are literally insufferably long just because the show is 3 hours. Did we need LA Knight to come out and talk for 15 minutes? 15 minutes to set up a match for later in the show, which, by the way, they didn't even advertise in that 15-minute segment. They announced it later. Only to go like 7 minutes with a 4-minute commercial break and a DQ finish? No, we didn't. But we watched it because the show is 3 hours long and they need to fill the time. So, yeah, I hate that. Do I hate WWE? No. But I hate watching a 3-hour show that is mostly Just wasting time because the show is 3 hours. And then they didn't even give a lot of time to the matches. Asuka and Alexa, I mean, it was a nothing match with a weird moment. And then, Randy and Sammy was, like, good for what it was for, like, 6 minutes of TV time that we watched? And then we had a bizarre John Cena.
What was that match? What a waste.
You know what it was? It was like John Cena has been signed to appearances. So it's like we may as well have him do a match. And we'll make it a nothing match that goes 1 minute, a commercial break, 1 minute, and a DQ. Waste of time. The only good thing on the show really was his pipe bomb promo on CM Punk, which appeared designed to turn John Cena babyface and CM Punk heel. And it did in Grand Rapids.
Yeah. Well, what are they going to do now if they have to move this show? If they close all the airspace and now CM Punk doesn't even have to go to Saudi Arabia. He doesn't have to fly across the world and go against his own morals to challenge John Cena. Instead, he probably gets to just do it in his own backyard of Chicago.
Well, I mean, the story isn't that he physically is or is not going. It is that he said he would never go and then gleefully agreed to go. That's the story. Doesn't matter if the show takes place or not. The guy already said, yeah, I'll go. So that's the story they're telling. They are literally telling the story that CM Punk is hated by everybody in every locker room that he's been to. He's stomped all over his friends, and he is a hypocrite who says one thing on Twitter and then does something different. That's literally the story they're telling. And John Cena is telling it, and he's getting cheered for it.
Yeah. So what Cena said is, he said he doesn't hate Punk. He hates the idea of Punk being the best in the world. Said he's not the best in the world, but he is the biggest BSer there is. He said people chant for him, but they don't believe a word he says. Then he did the infamous Claudio Castagnoli and Nemeth brothers name drop as people that Punk had stepped on. Called him a capitalist and Mr. TKO as he stands there with the Universal title. He said Punk's tweets are strong, but his actions are weak. And if Grand Rapids is any indication, the mood is starting to change. And then held up the belt over a guy who had been laid out by one AA onto a table for 10 minutes.
Well, he did hit him with a belt twice first, and he kicked him in the yarbles. But yeah, he laid there for 10 straight minutes. 12, actually. Never got up. Yeah. What, it just stomped you down and you've given up?
Well, at that point in the show, I had given up because, like you said, the match before was Bronson Reed and LA Knight, which, they wrestled. They were doing some stuff. And then we got the great traditional DQ finish of, hey, some guys are just going to run in.
Hate it.
It's the worst.
Yeah.
And then we got a non-finish in Killings and Cena, which, whatever.
I don't mind.
There was no good wrestling on this show. Aleister Black and Kit Wilson didn't even happen.
No.
Charlotte and Chelsea was a DQ when the Hervis just ran in. So we had one match on the show. Is that what happened? Alexa Bliss and Asuka? That was it?
The other day we had a guy call in and I don't know if he called or emailed, but he asked if the bloom was off the rose with Triple H in his booking. And I said no, at the time, because they are doing tremendous business still, and the place goes nuts for everything. But this was a show, and the length was part of it. But this was a show that when it was over, it sort of was what is this guy doing? Because if we look at it one segment at a time, it's well, Asuka and Alexa Bliss they're just tournament matches or whatever. But R-Truth is back. And he's nothing like what he was when the people wanted him back. He was a silly comedy guy. He got fired. The people were upset because a silly comedy guy got fired. So now they bring him back as a serious guy. And who wants to see serious Truth? And apparently he's just coming back to feud with Aleister Black. And then, we have this, the finals of the King of the Ring, the semifinals. It's all baby faces. They don't want Cody booed, but literally every match they're putting him in position to be booed. We have Charlotte Flair, who everybody hates. You know, Alexa, who's supposed to be a babyface, wants to be friends with Charlotte for reasons like the best reason they've come up with is they were friends in NXT. Do you guys remember when they were friends in NXT? It was freaking 2014. It's 2025 now. Like, what? So this doesn't make any sense. Chelsea is cheered by everybody, but
That'd be
she's
like-
a heel,
That'd be like if you brought back Todd Martin.
which I would.
Well, yeah, but I mean, like, that's how long ago that was.
Solo, I mean, Solo's the only, like, hot star, it feels like, on this show, like, new hot star. And then, you know, Bronson and LA Knight, just a total crap finish. John Cena and Ron Killing sucked. And then, dude, oh my God. I know his gimmick is the best in the world, but if Phil Brooks were on this show and was like just going to be honest and tell his true feelings, he would tell you that he's in his mid-40s and he can't, I mean, he was never a great athlete to start with, and now he's in his 40s. Bro, him and John Cena, that brawl they had, they're having a match together, like a wrestling match. This could be horrible. Like, I'm talking really, really, really bad. And I'm not even blaming Punk. My point is, like, Punk isn't, like, he ain't carrying John Cena to a good match, okay? He's just not. The closest anybody has come to carrying this John Cena to a good match is Randy Orton. And CM Punk is not Randy Orton in the ring. Like, I don't know, man. I like the promo, I guess. I mean,
It depends what purpose it serves.
I know. I mean,
right? It's a good promo,
It's
sure,
a good
but
promo.
not if you're a heel who's supposed to have the crowd hate him. And then he's out at Fanatics Fan Fest going crazy, running around like he's the biggest baby face you've ever seen.
I'm going to give my theory about this promo after the break. It'll be quick because it's the short segment. Back in a moment, Observer Live. Just a quick note before this free video. If you click like and subscribe, I'd be very thankful. ChatGPT Smackdown review starring Filthy Tom and Bryan Alvarez.
Welcome back, you miserable wretches, to another disaster of an episode of Figure 4 Daily, the only show on the internet that's guaranteed to make your brain rot faster than watching one of these Smackdown episodes. I'm your host, Filthy Tom Waller, joined by the man who somehow manages to be more useless than a rubber knife in a prison fight, Bryan Alvarez. What's up, Bryan?
Let's not pretend you're the shining star of this operation. You're like a broken pencil. Pointless. And I don't even know I'm still here with you. Anyway, let's get to this train wreck of a SmackDown. Spoiler alert, if you were expecting a wrestling show, you've come to the wrong place. It was like watching someone fall asleep in real time.
You should know all about falling asleep, Bryan, since you've been half dead for years now. If enthusiasm was an Olympic sport, you would get a participation medal for showing up, but still lose.
I could tell the crowd was hyped for Drew, and Nakamura's music is always a banger, but it was just nothing. It's like watching a 5-minute commercial for a product you don't even want to buy.
And I bet the only thing that was more uninspiring than this match was your entire existence. Let's move on before I fall asleep right here on this microphone.
Tom, you think because you're a former fighter, that makes you a wrestling expert? You'd probably lose in a match with a traffic cone. Look, Jade's a star, but Liv Morgan, she's the human version of a please wait screen.
Liv Morgan is about as useful as a sandbag at a swimming pool party, who's like trying to make a turkey sandwich with no bread.
It's like the crowd went from yay to who's got the remote. Can we change the channel?
Liv Morgan's biggest move is making the audience wish for better things. She's like the human version of a wet sock. Nobody wants it.
I get it, Tom. You don't like fun. You don't like energy. You don't like anything that's not just sitting on your couch in your pajamas complaining.
More of the same.
Oh, we're back to more of the same, huh? Just like your wrestling career. More of the same, but somehow still a disaster.
Well, that's it, folks. SmackDown 2025 was more like SmackDown 2005. Same old stuff, same old disappointments. Join us next time when we tear apart something else for your listening pleasure.
Yeah, next time, Tom, maybe you'll actually have some real wrestling to talk about instead of whatever disaster this was. Until then, just remember, don't listen to Tom and don't watch SmackDown unless you hate yourself.
Whatever. It's your funeral.
What? I've never been so embarrassed doing this show as I was for the last 5 minutes. God. So here's what I can figure here. So as some of you probably know, Dwayne wanted to turn Cody heel, okay? And Cody was like, I'm not turning heel. That's why John Cena ended up turning heel. And we've got this Cena heel run, okay? The Cena heel run is not working, okay? Like, the promos suck because there's no reason for him to have turned heel. He's on his retirement tour in which he shouldn't even be a heel. As a human being and a worker and, like, someone all beat up, he shouldn't be playing the role of a heel because it requires him to take far more bumps, and it's just not conducive to him having good matches. And, like, the people don't want to boo him. So, if Cody isn't turning heel, and John Cena isn't going to be heel much longer. He just can't be, okay? Well, if it's not going to be Cody and it's not going to be Cena, well, who's it going to be? And you can't say Seth because that's a totally different thing entirely, okay? He's a top heel over there. I'm talking if John Cena on SmackDown, Cody Rhodes on SmackDown, if they're not going to be heels, well, who's your heel? Well, I think it's going to be Punk. I think this whole thing is set up to do a double turn with John Cena and CM Punk. John Cena goes babyface, CM Punk goes heel, Cody's still a babyface, Seth is the other top heel, and away we go. I mean, I can't think of any other reason why you would do this promo and go so hard on the fact that this guy's a hypocrite. I don't know. Could be wrong. That's what I think. Any final thoughts, Tom?
Good synopsis.
Thanks, brother. I'll see you Wednesday, right?
Perhaps.
We'll see you all next time.
You never know what the
everybody.
future holds.
Wrestling Observer Live.